need to start challenging in a way that shuts down Yangon Galacticos, which, speaking of which roster is going to try and do it? In this game, will it be Hora? Well, they land at least close to them, but we'll see if they cut off their rotation.
So the most likely rotational path for Yangon Galacticos is down this west coast, right? The question is, when are they going to make that rotation, and where are they going to try and end up? Who's going to get in the way of that? I'm looking at teams like Falcons. They generally move over towards El Pozo. I'm expecting that to come on through. But for Yangon Galacticos, they could go all the way down to Miramar. There's actually Loxley picks up the first elim of the match. A nice clean elim there, added to the tally for Regnum Kaya over on the middle side of the tables. But I'm expecting Yangon Galacticos to potentially push down all the way to the south of this one. Get over towards La Driera, that Via de Mar area, potentially. And I don't imagine that too many teams are going to get in their way immediately. They could just stop off over towards Trailer Park, though.
That's right.
They might just loot early and get on in that way.
Well, one of the things Yangon Galacticos does on Miramar that we've been hyping up over the past couple of days is they stay in blue zone for the longest time. So it's going to be hard to even see them until maybe stage 3, where they finally decide to get within a zone. And if I'm Falcons or Hora, I'm going to constantly keep that in the back of their mind. They have history. They are the teams who have been trying to gatekeep Yangon Galacticos in our previous Miramars. So most likely, those are going to be the 3 teams to clash a little bit later. Like I said, though, unless Yangon Galacticos does what they normally do, and that stay inside blue for the longest time. Now, for Alter Egos, revenge is needed. You got Regnum Karya. They just took down one of your teammates. The question is, how much do you want to commit for the challenge onto them a little bit later on? This zone, not too crazy, not too exciting at the moment. Everybody has their own real estate. Everybody has kept their distance, but my eyes, once again, goes up towards the northwest between Yangon Galacticos, Hora, and Falcons. Maybe even throw 4 Thrives in there. Eventually, that's going to be spicy.
I mean, yeah, it does look like Yangon Galacticos do stop early, loot up around the northwest side near Trailer Park, and they'll play in from that northwest edge. They wanted to get looted earlier. They do have a lot of vehicles on side as well already gathered, so they can move nice and quickly. But we're now coming into our 4th minute as the first circle starts to close. So you imagine that they do want to get a shift on fairly soon, fairly quickly. And at the moment, we're not really seeing too many other teams putting pressure on one another for the time being. I'm looking at Alter Ego, potentially Weibo coming into conflict with one another over on the northeast side, just east of San Martin, near Hacienda del Patron. On that edge, but it looks like Eren may be under threat from Nongshim Red Force as well. This is much, much closer to the middle of the map here, just out north of Picardo. And
Weibo's a great shout, by the way. A team that has performed decently well on previous Miramars in this tournament, more specifically here in the finals. Weibo, a team that is very, I mean, what is close? It's all relative, but at least close enough to break into top 3, maybe start challenging the top 2 teams of APG and Yangon Galacticos. The opportunity is there. So for Weibo on these Miramar maps, I do look to them to kind of be the front runner, in my opinion, to maybe start shaking things up in our top 3 run.
I mean, these are numbers you just don't see, right? Like, it's so unfamiliar to be playing with this sort of lobby disparity towards the top of the tables, right? I mean, we're coming out of the first day, it was fairly close by, like everyone was sort of neck and neck. Yangon Galacticos got a little bit of a lead towards the end of that first day, but it's just completely topsy-turvy now. Like, there's no... I don't think there's precedent, really, for a tournament situation like this.
Yeah.
And for Yangon Galacticos, they've got to feel real good about themselves. Team Secret on the southeast side, just out west of Impala, near La Bendita as well, taking shots over towards Regnum Kaya as they try and move on the east side. Wild has taken quite a lot of damage, and another tag sent on in as well. This is dangerous. Trang could potentially get a shot or 2 sent his way as well, but Wild just about escapes with his life.
Barely gets away. I thought for sure Trang was going to park the bus, fire some shots. I would have for sure at least tried to get that knock, because Wild would have been out in no man's land. And that's a team you do want to take out. Regnum Karya, despite being in 7th place, is a roster that is scary when you fight against them and you're opposite of them. And for Team Secret's sake, I mean, even further down the standings for them, taking out Regnum Karya would have been huge. Now for E-Arena, a team that needs to step it up, fighting against our 2nd place team, APG. Rethus has the high ground.
Rufus on top right now. For APG, of course, one of the very few teams, and by very few I mean the only team that is within even thinking distance of Yangon Galacticus right now. Mormon takes himself out, and that's going to be an easy pickup for Rufus. Very happy with that. Arena fumble, not good, especially when you're in 15th place. You can't let that sort of thing happen. Rufus on the outside, he's all too happy to take this fight. And the backup's coming through for Arena, but getting up and challenging him is so difficult. And now Doc is on the ground floor. Top moving in from the sidelines. They are going to close the jaws on this trap.
You would think so. Still, though, in close and personal in a CQC fight, Arena does have the shot he's needed in order to battle against APG once they do push forward. And Rufus can only do so much from the hilltop. It's going to be up, or it should be from the rooftop. It's going to be up to the rest of the roster to push in from the bottom side of things. By the way, update, Power loses Al-Haji, a crowd favorite. I'm curious how that's going to impact a little bit later on. For APG, though, they start to tighten the vice grip. Joker, though, on the outside is a little bit interesting. If Rufus does decide to overexpose himself on that rooftop, Joker might be able to knock him down, giving an opportunity for E-Arena to potentially take the high ground for themselves.
I mean, the issue is the off angles, right? For Alpha Gaming, it's going to be really difficult to have an impact for Joker. Rufus isn't going to give him the opportunity. I can guarantee you that. And Doc will find out about this position as well. So the off angle there is spotted. They'll easily handle this, and it should be E-Arena disengaging, if they can.
Yeah. Tough for Joker. If he knocks down Doc, maybe he starts to push up. Zayal potentially takes over the place and maybe challenges Joker himself, but it just doesn't end up occurring. Zayal, though, continues to push up. Maybe being the tip of the spear in this engagement. Sakura hasn't moved, and in fact, Arena, the bottom players don't have to. It's up to APG to penetrate this building.
Certainly is. I'm taking a look at the rotates on the map as well. Yangon Galacticos currently making their way in on the west side against the Falcons. You can see that in the picture-in-picture on your top right. The expanded mini-map there could potentially come into conflict. They're still quite far away from each other. As the nades start to come through, Tiny K gets an opener. Over towards Ziol. They're going to try and chase this one down. He knows Top's on the wall, burns off the corner, burns off that retreat, and could potentially put a lot more pressure onto this one, but Top actually hops forward, gets up to cover, and the rest of the team are going to sidle on in and keep this one at arm's distance. Four Thrives moving on past this, not going to get stuck in either. Tourniquet just about escaping there before his health bar depletes to 0.
Oh, but how aggressive does Doc want to get? He knew the damage was in, but now he doesn't have the positioning. Tourniquet will recover, get his health back up into play. Shots will ring out, but Tourniquet is safe. This angle is nasty. He has the right-hand peek advantage, and he'll try and take advantage, but gets mowed down as he peeks in the line of sight of 3 players from APG. Now Joker has no choice but to retreat back into a corner and try and stay up, but he can't go anywhere. Nowhere safe.
Doc around the corner there, keeping that suppressive fire down, and they find another. Sakura falls, and now Joker is the last to go. No knock sent back towards APG, and E-Arena donate 4 more points to put them over into the triple digits as well.
Okay, all right. APG wins a critical fight. All 4 stay alive. And if you're interested in this race between Yangon Galacticus and APG, you're hoping APG has a couple of pop-up games to truly challenge Yangon Galacticus to make tomorrow even more interesting. For DRX, the struggles continue as one player will get dropped, fully finished off. And, well, no surprise, it's Horta Sky who loves his long-range fights.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to clock that shot. An easy flush out as well. 3 players for DRX, the 3rd place team right now, who sit so far behind first place. It's unbelievable at this stage in the tournament. You know, after 10 matches played, you expect things to be closer. But they have just had their path made all the harder by playing on as 3 here on Miramar. The circle centered over towards Picardo. Not guaranteed to be going on to the inside of it just now, but Power can rest easy for the time being, despite losing a player earlier to Regnum Karya.
You mentioned Yangon Galacticus taking that southern portion, and they have gone all the way down to Chumisera. Now start to rotate their way in. This time not in blue, but I think that's only because of how the zone is kind of centered up, or else Yangon Galacticus would be totally happy being a little bit further south. But they start to move in. APG, most likely the team to fight against them. St. Cloud's a bit separate, so there is a chance, and so is Rufus, right? So there is a chance we have a 3v3 between Yangon Galacticus and APG if YG starts to move up a little bit further on. Weibo does start to get a little bit closer to Noxium Red Force, and for other rosters, of course, in the center area, like you mentioned, Power, they're chilling. No reason to rush anything.
I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'm wondering at what point does it make sense for Yangon Galacticos just to start hot dropping APG every game?
Ooh. Not now. I don't think now.
I feel like, yeah, definitely not right now.
Yeah.
But limiting APG's point scoring potential is the only thing they really need to worry about moving in towards tomorrow. Of course, the gap is surmountable on some blowout days for a couple of teams beneath them, like DRX, for instance. But still, it's very, very unlikely. So maybe if you're thinking about towards the second half of tomorrow, we could see things get a little bit freaky if they don't want to try and break the record of most chicken dinners in a tournament.
Well, it's not a hot drop at the moment, but Yangon Galacticos, APG, I think APG is getting closer and closer, and you talked about him challenging YG to maybe shut them down, stop the points. They've got YG very separate, and actually Smile is going to be isolated by himself in between two members of APG, and to add in a little bit more of a curveball, DRX going down south. Falcons force them out even further than they're probably wanting to with a couple of shots. And DRX will soon be crossing paths with Yangon Galacticos. So now all of a sudden our southern region has become quite active.
APG going to coalesce towards a compound right now. They don't want the smoke from Yangon Galacticos. Smile stanchions himself out to the east side, and we'll just feed this information back with Alpha Gaming going a little bit slow, being pushed out to the east side. Yangon Galacticos could potentially navigate all the way through Los Leones. There is a chance that they could just try and enter out that way. Getting a little bit closer towards La Bandita, out to the east side there. We'll have to wait and see. DRX still in pursuit, as you highlighted.
Yeah. I don't know if they necessarily know who's ahead of them, but they are in pursuit. When they see that team in front of them, they might be forced to fight it out. Now, for Fireflux, I wonder if they're aware of everything that is going on just south of them, because they do play a gatekeeper role in a way. With this 2-2 split, they've got a lot of options. Magnum Caria just to the north of them. To the west, you've got Falcons and APG, who are now getting dangerously close to themselves. So from APG to Yangon Galacticos, APG now over towards Falcons area. The question is, how deep do they decide to get into the zone? And for DRX, how quickly can they get up to Yangon Galacticos? APG still holding down a hardcover POI as hard as they can with Falcons up ahead.
Yeah, they slip back out to the western side, and Falcons now going to be the team to try and take them on. Of course, the hometown heroes here in Saudi Arabia. The organization has a lot of fans out there, but they have been underperforming expectations so far. Their calls have been slightly messy. Their confidence definitely knocked here. And it would take something miraculous, something unbelievable to see them find a title here. But as the day is dusking, it feels like it might be over for the Falcons, as it has been for so many other teams with high expectations into this tournament.
I think so, and you know, that's really, really hard to say because Falcons, so much hype coming into this. But again, I do want to highlight, for every team that has made it to grand finals, is still a big accomplishment because they've had to battle it out and they've surpassed other rosters. Now, let's talk about Falcons versus Power. Power have the advantage. 4 Thrives even getting active as Ralph will fall to the third party. So 4 Thrives, Ida, Power, Falcons all within the area, and Falcons are getting dismantled.
Redog's the only one to stand now on the inside. Narvalo down and can't really go for the cross cleanly here. Trying to slam into the east side of Picardo. I mean, it's not ideal, right, in this scenario. There's this big hillside that sits in the middle of the circle, but it's really exposed out to the east edge right now. Once the circle shrinks a little bit more, that ridgeline will start to gain power, similar to how we saw on the ridgeline to the north of the river in the previous match start to gain power once the circle closed on towards it. Very exposed before that, but can gain momentum. Yangon Galacticos going to be playing on that east side to potentially take shots out that way.
Yeah, DRX finally made their way up. They had to go deep into blue through the south. Once they finally got up into the northern side of things, they run straight in to Yangon Galacticos. A couple of shots are exchanged. DRX takes a little bit of damage, loses a player, but still relatively healthy. But for them, they've got to worry about alter egos because they're collapsing. Alva was the first one to get active onto the DRX members, and now the rest are going to join in. We've got a fight over here in the factory, and Moana is down.
Going down first there on the engagement, DRX wanting to rack up a point or two if they can. Nade over towards another, and Alva goes down next as Roseberry, his point is picked up by DRX, but Yangon Galacticos get one of the points on this engagement, because why not?
Why not?
They need more points, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. You can always use more points. The question is, actually, chat, let us know prediction. How high will Yangon Galacticos go in the standings, at least points-wise, by the next two games, this game included? For DRX, they successfully win the fight, but they can't stay here. They've got to move forward. With it being said, for Say Cloud, he's got the forward position. So DRX, maybe a northern rotation is in the books. For Yangon Galacticos, things do start to get a bit spicy. You've got Team Secret who's up ahead of them. Fireflux to the left, DRX to the right. So at a certain point, there is a real chance Yangon Galacticos get into an engagement and then ultimately end up being third party, either from DRX or Fireflux from a distance.
Nades in from Nongshim Red Force as they try and put pressure on from the north side of the compound towards Hora. Trying to land a little bit more damage. 3 players alive for Hora, and Tizzy going to try and keep those health bars nice and low so that this assault is made all the easier. I'm looking at No Fear right now, thinking about how this position can impact the engagement. Needs to catch at least one player from Nongshim Red Force on this approach. If he doesn't, his team is done for.
Remember, I mentioned Weibo at the very beginning. A great Miramar team. They've been relatively slow so far. However, I think this is where they start to capitalize off their current positioning. They can look down on this fight between Hora and Nongshim Red Force. They can also look down onto DRX. Well, but up close and personal, we see Nongshim Red Force with Tizzy throwing out utility, taking down Hora, as Hora are in trouble at the moment. Only 2 players alive. Sky is down and out. Tizzy even burning himself to go in for the full finish.
Looking for another point. Add it onto the tally, and No Fear has no impact on the engagement there. Will not be able to help his teammates out, and he'll play on as a solo on the northeast side of this next circle that does shift up a little bit to the north, so I'm sure that the Falcons are regretting their decision to crash into Picardo, because everybody's going to have to leave from there. They don't have to just yet, but certainly in stage 6 they will do.
Yangon Galacticos, DRX, they've been kind of going toe-to-toe with each other. They did have a bit of a fight earlier. DRX broke away and chose to challenge a team up ahead. But now for DRX taking the fight to YG. Cars coming, and Hyunbin ready for it, but gets tagged up. Surely he falls, and he will. Now the rest of the DRX roster forced to stand up, forced to try and be heroic in the moment. But Smile gets the full finish. DRX down to 2 players, and YG goes for a reset.
You cut off one head, 2 more arise to take its place. Yangon Galacticos rallying around Murnat there. Pop him in the back of the buggy, put pressure onto DRX, back them off here. An emergency evacuation being enacted right now, and DRX have no say in the matter.
Say indeed. DRX running out of time, running out of resources. Only 2 players left, and on top of that, you've also got Hora maybe to deal with from No Fear to solo. Nongshim Red Force, who are starting to progress on the hilltops, maybe to look down for a third party. For DRX, they've got to fight tooth and nail. They need to get active, and maybe a buggy exit is what they needed.
Hora are eliminated in the meantime, and DRX giving another point over to Yangon Galacticos. Smile in pursuit. They want to chase this one down. Nongshim Red Force there over the road on the north side, and Scissor spotted. Smile, he is able to take them down to 1 player on DRX, and they keep churning through these games, through these teams, and it's just domination left and right. The only other time I can remember something like this happening is all the way back in like 2019, right? With Bigatron over in Kuala Lumpur. They dominated by about over 100-point margin. Obviously, the point scoring system was a bit different back then, but that's the only other time I can remember this sort of domination happening in a tournament at a global level.
And they're just feeling, again, the pressure isn't as heavy as it is for other rosters. Yangon Galacticos, they've hit their flow state, and they're just looking so good. DRX forces in Sohej just straight in the middle with a buggy exit, and now Nongshim, wow, okay, Yangon Galacticos managed to get a knock, and they take the fight from a distance against Nongshim Red Force. Tizzy is down, he's dropped, but only for a little bit of time. I believe he's going to be picked back up. So for this fight. Yangon Galacticus, no reason why they don't have the advantage in a moment. Now, I don't want to see another crash in this spot, though. No reason for either team to get overly aggressive. Take your time. You have plenty of it.
Certainly a lot of opportunity. The circle comes in and it goes central. Now, this is where that ridgeline I was talking about starts to come into play. On the south side, you can see there's an approach for teams like Fireflux, like Team Secret, to push up towards the north. APG are there as well. But let's hop into this fight because it's popping off over on the edges of Picardo.
Yes, it is. It's going to be our team of 4 Thrives going against Ida, who is now getting pieced apart. 4 Thrives, wolfpacking together continually upwards. Now, notice Falcons and Power are not too far behind. Naki needs to be very careful on how he swings this angle, because most likely he's going to get shot instead of back. With Ida being dealt with, Aaron fully gone, now you can focus your attention on the Falcons and Power. But I ask you, John, is it worth it to challenge this, to go for the third party, or short 4 Thrives, go with IQ into the next zone?
I feel like getting ahead of this is going to be more impactful for 4 Thrives if they can find a position out to their east side, potentially uncontested for the time being. There's potential danger from Weibo off in the distance, and Navallo tried to cut across them. Yangon Galacticos, are they in danger right now? Okay, hang on a minute. Romeo and SayCloud both down on the front. Noxian Red Force have 4 players alive. It looks like they're going to be able to finally do something against the roster that's been a terror to the rest of the lobby.
Well, it seems to be the case, doesn't it? But Noxian Red Force with 4. You got 2 Mighty Warriors from Yangon Galacticus. Mernat firing some shots, drops 1, goes for the second, can't connect enough. But what a valiant effort it was, but it doesn't mean they are gone just yet. Actually, it does, excuse me, as they're fully finished. I thought there was going to be at least 1 more warrior from Yangon Galacticus to put up a fight, but even 3 points, I mean, come on, you got to give it to them. They fight to the very end, and now we have to shift our attention to APG, the closest team to catching up to Yangon Galacticus, the team looking to take down the Falcons.
117 points is their target now after this match. They are currently on 104 with the 8 points that they've gotten so far, which means that they are 13 points behind right now. So they still have quite a way to go if they want to catch up. But this is brilliant news. Like you said, the opportunity now to draw level with Yangon Galacticos, which is something that could only be dreamed of further down the tables.
That's right. This could be a massive game for APG, but Fireflux, they want to stop them. After all, Fireflux, they still got skin in this game. They're in 5th place. There's a lot of money still to be earned in a championship potential run. Solus up close, gets mowed down. Fireflux left with just 1 more standing. But for how long? Well, Madcap says, I've got this. Boys, I'm going to take the cake. I'm going to push up. 1v3, no problem. APG, not like this.
Oh, they are going to push Madcap back off the angle, though. He has 1 more hurdle to jump. He will go for the fire. Reefus keeps them together. The full reset potential, but Navallo could also change things around. The Falcons moving on up with their last player. He's not going to be there in time. He's just trying to get a little bit further forwards onto this circle. So Alpha Gaming now up to 11 eliminations, 10 points behind Yangon Galacticos.
Ooh, okay, so a potential 21-point game. Who knows, maybe even more if they get eliminations, which would put APG in 1st place. And you mentioned Narvalo, he's gone. Falcons are eliminated. For APG, this is their game to take. They've got a lot of great competition. They still have to fight for zone, maybe even against 4 Thrives. I'm assuming Noxian Red Force, but APG have already put up 1 hell of a game.
Weibo on the north side are a major threat. Last player from DRX could change that around if he doesn't get spotted by them, but you imagine that Weibo are going to be able to spot that one out. You hope so at the very least. So on the northern side, they have a lot of control. So easy. I think he's been spotted. No. Oh, that was in reverse there. Hang on a minute. They're going away. They might leave into his own devices.
So it stays alive just a little bit longer. Weibo finally starting to fire a couple of shots, I believe onto Phallic. IQ will try to alleviate some of the pressure from a distance. Weibo have a lot of utility here. Soaz will stay just where he's at. No reason for him to fire off. He's going to be a sneaky beaver as long as he possibly can. Actually, I do start to worry about Weibo now as he might get gunned down.
Oh no, oh, they know he's right there. Surely he checks the angle. Surely they spot out. He's pulled his gun away. No, he's getting spotted. Okay. M4 is out, and it is DRX eliminated. Crisis averted on the northern side. Weibo and the Chinese fans very happy about that one.
Very happy indeed. That could have been crazy. Losing half your team in just a moment's time to a solo who's been surviving. Ugh, that would have hurt for sure. T24 down, but not for long. Naki's going to get him back onto his feet. 4 Thrives will be able to continue to potentially thrive in this game with 4 of their players. We look at the zone and, man, Weibo, Noxium Red Force, just neck and neck. Doc starting to move in potentially into APG. Now, I do worry if he gets a bit too far away from his team, APG's going to mow him down. You need numbers in these final fights.
And at the moment, center of the circle, closest occupant is 4 Thrives, who we're on board with just there. And they will get a little bit closer to this one. However, the high ground now has to be rolled off. APG, you can see how low their health bars are. You've got to imagine that their meds are looking a little bit threadbare as they take some shots over towards Noxium Red Force, but Doc C hasn't been handled just yet, and he finds both of the backline. Again, it's all up to Reapers to keep them alive, but Top is going to get flushed away, and it's IQ to actually push Doc C off of that high ground. In the meantime, there's a trade-off, a Weibo taken back down. This engagement is going every direction on this circle.
All right, huge. If we can get a reset, at least with a duo, Weibo now focused fully on Noxium Red Force up ahead. Sook, a great grenade. He's going to throw it. It goes down the hill, but Benny and Tizzy managed to distance himself, but a wonderful shot will drop one. Reefus gets some shots onto Doc C, getting yet another point, I believe, putting APG at 12.
Could potentially be racking up more and more. Haven't quite got that flush just yet, so the 12 elims, they'll try and add to that tally. Falak nade over the top. This looks good, and it will find the knock of the 33Z. Weibo's sidelines now are opened up a little bit, and he manages to get back as well behind that Molotov. Really timely retreat. The old ducks behind the headland just in time.
Gotta favor 4 Thrives in this moment. A team that was so incredible. The dominant roster throughout group play, struggling when it comes to grand finals, but a chance to step it up. Reefus is down a solo. Last alive for the team of APG. Sayal also taking damage himself, and Alpha Gaming will in fact be eliminated. But good news even more so for 4 Thrives, who have a dominating position and they have dominant control here. I don't think they can lose this game.
Weibo try and find Beanie in the ditch there, but he's in the smoke. A little bit too hard to find this time around, but the spray downs, the shotgun puts him out of the business. 4 Thrives now with 9 eliminations, trying to convert this one against Weibo. They've crunched them in. Look at how they sit on this circle. We're on to stage 8 now. It will close dead center, and 4 Thrives should have this one on lock in a 4 versus 3. Nade over the top from T24. Falak's gonna be up on that off angle now. Sook should be next on the menu, and you can imagine he's gonna bite down something hard. Falak able to nail that shot, of course.
Well done.
No chance he doesn't.
Now it's a 4v2. T24 pushing closer and closer to Order, and he down below. T24 finally looks like he starts to fire a couple of shots. Order most likely dropping in a moment. He as well. Is this the game? Will we see it? One from 4 Thrives perspective. Only one more player remains, and I just don't know if it's enough. 4 Thrives will take game number 5. Much needed points going their way.
Pushing themselves up towards the middle side of those tables. Obviously, a little bit futile to hope that you could get up towards the top, but it is money that you're earning. As you ladder up on those tables, there are big pay gaps that you can cross. So beautiful news for 4 Thrives. Coming into this, one of the highest point scoring qualifiers from the group stages. They needed to keep things back under control, and you can see maybe a little bit despondent about that performance, but either way, they take the 10 chicken dinner points.
And you know what? You got to give credit to APG. They closed the gap even further onto Yangon Galacticas, who were eliminated earlier than they wanted. So for APG, making it very competitive. But for number 1 and number 2, they still continue to distance themselves. A great game for 4 Thrives. One more game remains. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the final map coming your way.
Reach your impossible. Lenovo Legion.
The highly anticipated addition to the Mummy series outfits is here. Paired with the new Ice Tube Glider, the Polar Spectrophage set is just what you need to freeze your enemies. Or send them ablaze with the Inferno Feed set's new upgradable Chain Inferno Uzi. All the Mummy outfits are back. Get them all. Join now and collect the whole series to turn all eyes on the battleground. Event period, July 10th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025.
واحد بالبيت مفتوح
ما يدعي عنك ما يدعي عنك
البيت هذا
نيد ما ادري وين شو ترجال والله الثاني وين
كفر البيت كفر البيت وين شوت والله حق البيت كفر البيت بس
تو من اليمين يمين عم الباقي نايس هاي خلاص هذا يلا تعالوا
قاعد تقرب ماشي
خلاص هذه ها لا تنوق
انا اوبن
هات نايس يا نايس نكمل يا عيال يلا جيجي ضيعنا قبل نكمل قبل جاي يلا.
The fight is back on from the rest of the lobby, and you too can endure the final true battle that's going on inside the game here as PUBG Mobile meets Transformers. As we have Optimus Prime, we have the Decepticons, we have everything going on. Check it out in-game right now, but we're checking out what's going on in Miramar because 4 thrives on the fight back. Neptura, they get themselves a win finally, yes!
I'm so happy about this last fight. I love everything about it. These two can attest to that. I was going crazy.
Screaming in the green room.
Because finally we see something from all of these teams, right? You had 4 thrives coming in from Picado, completely taking them out, moving in, right? Then you got WBG on the north. You've got who else? Nongshim Red Force kind of on the east side. You got APG on the south. Fourth Thrives able, with Falak on the north, able to push WBG into Nongshim Red Force. You had APG doing the same thing to Nongshim, pushing those two teams into each other. The minute that happened, APG go out, which just leaves Fourth Thrives able to just move in through the entire zone, take control, and just wipe the whole thing clean. It was... Mwah, was good.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Wow. No, this is definitely a lot closer to the Fourth Thrives we hope to see going into this one. Was the circle a little bit favoring them? Sure, a little bit towards the end, but the way they take the fight in Picado, eliminate a lot of those teams trying to exit Picado itself, and then actually go to the little dips over to the east of Picado, which is a very good position to gain time, wait for the circle to move in your favor, hopefully, and then you can take the win. I think the terrain knowledge there was on point from Fourth Thrives. Is it a bit too late, though, because they were at the bottom of the rankings? Maybe, but still nice to see a Pakistani win.
Yeah. Now, of course, Yangon did go out early, though, here, Max.
Actually, yeah, it was quite interesting that Yangon went out early. So there's still hope, though, lingering in the shadow. And for this occasion, I know normally we're not supposed to change predictions, but I do have a special cue card for the occasion.
Wait a minute.
And actually, we're going to be looking here.
No, Max. You're not cursing them.
Yeah, thank you, Seven. What are you trying to do?
What just happened?
What? No,
Honestly,
no,
Max.
not what just happened, Max. What are you doing?
You're a dangerous
That was not
man.
me. He's just...
You're a dangerous man,
I was
Max.
assaulted.
I'm not even. I didn't even see him get back there. That was impressive.
Yeah.
He's so small.
It's because he's small, yeah.
He is. He's like a small hamster. Yeah, he's crazy. But yes, okay, right. Well, shut up, Max. Nobody needs to hear about that. What's on that cue card?
It's just my notes. My horrible notes I can't write well. It's fine.
Imagine if he had a second one prepared just in case. That
I had
would be ridiculous.
5.
We'd all be quaking.
Generally, there is hope when it comes down to it. Like Alpha Gaming able to linger a little bit more longer into this game compared to Yangon Galacticos. Actually, it's not even just Alpha Gaming. The other teams that were currently on the first page can try and play catch up a little bit. But we still got one more Miramar. We know they got a win yesterday over on Miramar. So chances are they could try and wrap it up again here on this map.
All right, well, just keep predicting Yangon, I guess. Let's take a look at the overalls then and see what happens, because there's no way that they are not going to be able to outdo this curse. 117 points. Look at that from Alpha Gaming, though, jumping up to 112. The barrier that they are slowly creating here, Neptura, compared to the rest of the teams, is absolutely nuts.
I'm just going to say, welcome back, Alpha Gaming, to be honest.
Yes.
With one win, they're able to get 112 points, right? 75 eliminations, Max. We're able to see so much of them come back. This is the Alpha Gaming we're used to seeing with that high of elimination count. Currently in the top 8, they have the most eliminations of everyone.
I mean, we were talking about it earlier a little bit, Neptura. Reefus is the man just saving this day for Alpha Gaming, which is surprising when you have 3 global MVPs in Zyol, Top, and Doc all on the squad. So Reefus, really the unsung hero for APG.
Yeah, I mean, he is really the alpha of the group stage, I think. He's that one player.
Wait.
He is, though. He's the one player, that support player, the off-angle player, that's doing so much for the team and setting up his fraggers.
What a huge jump from 4th Thrives, though, moving into 6th place here, Max.
GG.
Yeah, Fourth Thrive's definitely going to be happy about that one. 65 points. They need another banger, if I had to be completely honest. We need another big game for them. But you know what? I want to go on to another team outside of Fourth Thrives. We already talked about them a little bit. Weibo, able to actually reach the late game, able to jump up here in the podium finish. 78 points, about what that's going to be 30, 40 points away from our top squads. Technically in reach of a first position finish if they can try and wrap it up in style here with this last game of the day on Miramar. They've been playing a little bit better. I like the speed at which they rotate, but on the second page here, a lot of teams, again, we don't expect to see here.
I would say definitely Neptura, a tough drop from Power and Alter Ego coming down here.
That is so unexpected. I don't know what's going on there. Power having a much quieter day. Can the day 1 actually carry them through to day 3 where they might have a different story? I'm not sure. Another one, though, that I really want to highlight is Thunder Talk. They have 34 eliminations to 4 placement points. I mean, it's Power day 1 all over again, but just not with the standing that we were, for the presence we were seeing from Power yesterday.
Definitely a tough time. Definitely a tough time. But guys, girls, everybody of all ages, it's time for everybody's favorite segment of the day.
Max Man's Grenade of the Day.
We're back once again. It's Maxman's grenade of the day. And this time around is actually going to be quite a serious one because we have a nade that might just be a winning tournament grenade here coming out from Yangon Galacticos. They wrap it up. They get the knock, the flush, and the winner chicken dinner because of an initial amazing third party from Yangon onto Team Secret versus Alpha Gaming. They get the nade. They get the squad wipe. They get the win. And again, create even more of a lead in the leaderboards. That nade was truly maybe not just nade of the day, but nade of the tournament.
Yeah!
Yes!
I like it! Good job, Max.
Thank you.
Oh, I was so hyped.
Can I get my APG cue
No,
card back?
no, shush you, shush.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing more from you now, Max.
Okay.
You're banned from talking. Nepturo, let's talk about this next game.
Yes.
One more Miramar for the day, and of course, everybody is looking towards, not Max Man, Alpha Gaming currently being able to somehow make this kind of lead up from what we've seen from Yangon. I think it's spectacular what we've seen from Alpha Gaming.
It's so nice to see them back. I think there's been so much concern over them. Finally, they're stepping into what we're used to seeing from them. So really, really good to see them back at it again. Can they win this next game to just secure the top of the leaderboard before we get into day number 3? Before we find out what our smash point is going to be? Can they be the one to set that standard, or is it going to be Yangon at the end? I don't know.
The +10 tomorrow will be big, of course, here. No, we're not getting anything from you, Max. I can see you mouthing something. Shut up. It is now to head over to the commentators. Thank you very much, Neptura, for everything here. Not you, Max. It's time to go into our final Miramar of the day. Over to the casters.
Yeah, and then I said, don't worry, Alpha Gaming. Maxman's definitely not going to be. Oh, hi guys.
Hello.
We are back once again, getting into the final match of the tournament today. Of course, it is that race between Yangon Galacticos and Alpha Gaming that got so closer after that first Miramar. We're going again to the desert, and let's see if we can change that story once again. Are Alpha Gaming going to be able to usurp the Titans at the top of the tables, or are they going to pale in the face of danger?
You know, I think at this point, even if they don't usurp, as you said, I think Alpha Gaming has put themselves in a wonderful spot going into tomorrow's competition. Even if they get a goose egg in this map, Alpha Gaming, the team to potentially challenge Yangon Galacticos, who have been highly consistent. But you got to question Weibo. Again, a great roster when it comes to Miramar. Now going into yet another Miramar, a team that is inching their way closer. So much time is needed for them to catch up. But the reality is, the closer they get, it becomes even more realistic that they're able to potentially get on that smash point themselves and steal the championship away from Yangon Galacticos, from APG. The opportunity's there. It's just a matter of what the players want for themselves. This next getting one of our highest scores yet in a day. So for Alter Egos, I look at them to potentially make an impact, not only in this final map, but also in tomorrow's competition.
We do, of course, always have these outside chances coming on through. I mean, we just saw the fans from Weibo, or for Weibo, I should say, as well as the team gearing up. They are right on the cusp of thinking about maybe being anywhere near to the top 2 right now, which is more than you could say for most in this tournament. Them and DRX, kind of those two teams who are sat there. Maybe Fireflux as well. Throw a couple of those on into the mix. But so far, it is really just such a difficult situation for teams in the middle of the tables because we've had 2 such dominant teams at the top of the standings. We've scooped out a lot of the point scoring from the rest of these tables, which makes it so much more volatile. And that's going to hit the middle of the table hardest in this instance, which means that teams can go up and down upwards of 5 places just every single game. It can reshuffle the middle of these tables very, very quickly. Things can get spicy here as we head on in for our final time today over towards Miramar to see what we've got coming on up.
It's our final time, our final chance to see who will set the point threshold. Will it be Yangon Galacticos? Will it be APG? Those are going to be your 2 front runners to set the threshold going into tomorrow. 10 points would then be added on top of that, and that will be our smash point. Don't get too caught up in that, though. I know we'll be explaining it tomorrow, but at least as this game goes, this is the final opportunity to get as many points as possible to set yourself up nicely going in to tomorrow's competition. And I do hope, at least for the sake of a lot of our rosters, this zone isn't too crazy. But if I know anything about Grand Finals, if I know anything about PUBG Mobile, they love to throw some wild things at you, some wild zones. So honestly, I'm kind of feeling it in my bones. Where are we going?
Ooh, okay.
Give me something spicy.
I mean, the spiciest circle on Miramar, as we all know, will be that East Island circle, right? That we saw at the end of the global stages at the end of last year back in London. That was nutso, and it was really, really dastardly. Not going to happen here, though. Don't be ridiculous. Stop bringing it up, Taylor.
I have to try. I've got to try, man. I need something spicy.
One day you'll get an East Island circle.
One day. You know, I didn't get my military zone. If I would have got that, I would have been perfectly satisfied with normal, okay? But this is going to be all right, and it's going to be great for those teams who just like a standard style of gameplay will most likely actually Gangon Galacticus not going as north as we're used to seeing them. They're going to be a bit more